Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the season finale spoiler review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. My name is my favorite president is Lincoln Trask now.
Oh, I am Captain Canada, Kirklin Patzer.
You know what? I'm the power broker, Taylor Field.
Oh, there you go. That would make sense. He's the bad guy. I can't wait to get into spoilers, talk about what he was lying about.
Okay, Mr. Lying first. Kirklin can attest to that.
I'm excited for the chat to pop off and we can get a vote of like whose lie was worse. Because I think yours was like a nut shot where mine was just like a little like, haha,
mine
joke.
Was
yours was a
50% like joke and lie and 50% right. This isn't like I just totally lied.
No, and Taylor kind of ruined, like he ruined his own joke too because he put in like, ha, got him before.
Yeah, because I wasn't gonna string you along.
Yeah, exactly.
He did though, because when he
still fell for it.
When he said there was that thing, I threw my phone to the side. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna look. Here we go. Okay. And lo and behold, then I pick up my phone.
That sounds like a Travis problem.
Yeah, that's a Travis problem.
No, that's a you fucking asshole problem. Ladies and gentlemen, this is GeekVerse podcast. Taylor, where can they find us on the interwebs for everything we do? We're about to get into spoilers. We're going to give some plugs, our overalls, and then we'll tell you when we're getting into spoilers. So that's your time to tune out. But I'm sure you've seen it. But Taylor, where can they find us on the interwebs?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter, and GeekVerse is our Facebook. Be sure to check us out on our Facebook because we have, in celebration of this week, literally tomorrow, the movie drops, and we'll be dropping off a review on the Saturday for you guys. It is the Mortal Kombat.
What is happening? What was that voice? I'm dropping on a review for you guys. What's going on here?
That's my 1 a.m. voice because I'm fucking exhausted. Mortal Kombat's coming at you this week. We're going to have a review for you. In celebration of that on our Facebook, we got our Mortal Kombat fan-based community poll popping off. And I believe, what was it? Raiden lost.
Yeah, he got
obviously
against
Scorpion. Yeah, so it's
the God of Thunder.
It's Goro versus Noob Saibot.
Yeah.
Saibot? Did I say that right?
Saibot, yeah.
Saibot, yeah. So I think Saibot's got a clear lead right now. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go into the last match of this round, which will be, I think it's Johnny Cage versus Sonya Blade. So that'll be interesting.
Ooh, romantic. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be honest. We know where it's coming down to. It's going to be coming down to those two. Maybe we'll save the predictions for the Mortal Kombat episode because we'll have to see who's going to get that vote. I think it's going to be Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I thought Liu Kang might have a chance to pull an upset victory.
He got
but
bopped.
It didn't happen.
I threw in my vote. I was hoping he'd pull it through.
Yeah, no, I love Liu Kang. He's my boy. But was I going to vote for him over Sub-Zero Scorpion? No, but there's kind of a hope there. I don't know. It's tough. It's tricky, but those two are just cool. So you can go check out that. Like Taylor said, the review will be dropping this weekend. If you watch live, it'll be Friday night. We'll drop a time, probably 8 p.m. PST, 8:30, somewhere like that. But just watch social media feeds for everything we do, and we tell you, hey, we're going live this time, and then we go live. And then the podcast will be up Saturday. The Patreon exclusive this month is Mortal Kombat Annihilation commentary track, so check that out. That's lots of fun. You know, you're going to watch a bad movie, or you're hopefully watch a good movie, and then you can watch this bad movie. What else? Harry Potter retrospective just started. You can get that over a year early. They just did Philosopher's Stone, and then you guys recorded Chamber of Secrets, so that'll be going up this weekend. So you already got 2 Potter retrospectives right there. After 9 will be in a couple weeks, so look out for that. Join the Phase 2 tier to partake and call. It's always a good time. I'm sure we're going to be talking about Falcon Winter Soldier and lots of good stuff like that. Check out the podcast network, 7 days a week, 9 shows, covers everything in geekdom that you know and love. I think that's almost everything. We have no idea what's going on with Twitch this weekend because we had a stream plan and then some things changed. So just look on your social media, and then because I'm not even sure if you guys have talked about it yet, because we had a plan to join the Rocket League tournament, but then we found it was 2 days and that was not known for us. So there's been a whole bunch of things, but yeah, we'll figure that out. Just go to Twitch and throw that Prime subscription. Taylor and Kirklin, I know you gotta do that same thing. So go over and do that. Okay, good for you. And support us there, and that helps us out. But after that, there'll be weekly game streams. Just subscribe, like, review, everything like that. Please give us a nice 5-star written review. The written reviews really help on Apple Podcasts. You can go back a couple episodes ago. Finally, we dropped our new feeds, the retrospective, the news, and the reviews. So tons of stuff are up there. iTunes should go soon live. If you've seen, Apple's done a bunch of updates to podcasts and whatnot. So that's why we can't make those podcasts go live. But hopefully soon we'll have that and even some other announcements. So, gentlemen, we are here at the end. We've made it all 6 episodes. Fractured Wolf, it is good to see you back. Taylor Field, how did this close out the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, episode 6, not 2 hours, you know.
Yeah. So right off the hop, the hype of this episode was just fantastic. I think it was just truly top tier. Now, I will say this episode was rushed out the ass. Oh my god. And it not in a good way. Like, I feel like so
Wow.
many
I didn't
parts
think
of
it was
the
a good way
story.
by your delivery there.
No, so many parts of
Yeah.
the story. I feel like there's one story arc where I felt like it was very well paced, and I will give it that. Like, it ended and wrapped up nicely. But so many other things that I wanted to see, because it had such a long build up, but the execution of how it concluded was literally probably within 15 to 20 seconds, and I feel like that's really unwarranted for the setup that they did for these characters and the journey that led to this point in their lives. Yeah, so that's probably my only con, is just the quickness of it. But yeah, the action, again, everything on it was awesome. Yeah, Fractured Wolf, shouts to you. You know what I'm talking about.
He's shouting
Yeah,
at you.
good
You guys are
point. Yeah.
shouting out each other.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
why. Yeah.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
right, Fractured Wolf. You agree with me.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no, I think that the overall characters, it was awesome. There was some cool stuff, cool scenes, and the score popped off. Seeing Falcon, the hype was real. It was super real on this. So yeah.
Super real.
Yeah. I want to address the chat until we get in the spoilers for those scenes, but you're definitely on point on those ones. I'm not sure if that's the scenes Taylor's talking about. But Kirklin, how was this finale for you? Are you the same as Kirklin? You have some pacing problems, or you on
I
the
am
other
the same
side
as
of that?
Kirkland, so thank you for saying that. Yeah, this was this this was interesting. Got thrown in the wings there, this guy. I like this finale for sure. It got me excited for more. It got me definitely excited for season 2 and just going forward with the MCU. So in that regard, that's awesome. But I think I was a little like a little let down. I don't even want to phrase it that way. It's just like I feel like I had such high expectations just coming, especially like the last finale I had was WandaVision, and that one was just fucking wild. And I was like on the edge of my seat that entire episode. Whereas this one, I wasn't really like. I thought the action was awesome. I guess we're in not spoiler free zone right now. So overall, I really liked the episode. We got to see Falcon's new suit, so that was looking gorgeous. I loved it. I didn't like Google anything to like compare. I remember you were talking about that, like the comic book look. I don't know if it compares to that because I haven't looked that up yet. But I thought overall it just looked gorgeous, and a lot of the character moments I really liked. But I do agree with Taylor. I think there was some like resolutions that happened that just like literally were so quick, and it happened with a couple characters that I was just like, okay, like I kind of saw this coming just because we've been speculating it like throughout the season, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like I wanted a bigger reveal. I don't know, like there's a lot to tie up in this episode, and again, it's only an hour, which is pretty long. I don't know what the total runtime was, probably like 48 minutes or something like that, but yeah, like I'm excited to talk about the details and spoilers section, but overall I did really like this finale. It's just if I'm comparing it to like the last Marvel show that I watched finale, I don't even think it's like I don't want to discredit it too much by just saying like this one was shit in comparison to WandaVision.
Wow,
but,
you
like,
heard it here. Kirkland says Falcon Winter Soldier finale. Shit.
Clip that soundbite right there.
Yeah.
But I did really like it, but I think I was just expecting more. But still got me excited moving forward.
Wow. Okay. I'm definitely on the other side of you two, which is interesting. I feel like sometimes I'm a bit more negative, but no, I think other than you guys brought up, and the chat's already brought up, there are a few scenes where I went, that kind of fell kind of flat, or they could have done a little bit better there. I thought it was a fantastic finale. I don't know if it's my favorite episode of the season. That might go to the one of the previous two, but I thought there was lots of get hype moments. I thought there was just like, there was at least 5 moments I could count on my hand that I was like, this was hype, this was great, this was awesome, and it had me on that like kind of rocking. And yeah, the action was like, because like I like action, I'm like everyone else, but I want action. This sounds so stupid, but like to be done right. I don't want action for the sake of action. I feel like there's tons of creative segments and moments and fights in here, and it didn't just feel like I was bored just watching action. I thought they did a really good job. I thought there was good resolutions to these characters, but at the same time leaving lots of them open, which we've kind of talked about might be a season 2. And I feel like, in the minor spoilers, like there is a way that this could lead to more. Like, I know some people are like, is it a show or a movie? I don't think it'd be a movie with what they set up. I feel like they want to do this long form storytelling, but no, the action was great. We got a bit more with some social commentary, which I thought was actually really well done and well placed, and lots of great moments. And yeah, I can't complain. I don't know as far as comparing it to WandaVision, because I love that finale, but I also still have the Ralph Boner of it all. And there's nothing in this finale that was Ralph Boner for me. That, because I remember when that happened, that kicked me in the nuts right away for that finale. And a lot of the humor didn't work in that finale. Where this, I had a few moments that didn't work, but more worked for me than didn't. So I actually think that the back half of WandaVision finale I absolutely love, but I think I don't know, that's an interesting conversation. I know we'll probably talk about that on After 9 to the patrons, but like it's like I still think I like the show WandaVision better, but the finale with Falcon I had less problems, even if the WandaVision moment had these bigger moments. But yeah, I thought they did a good job. I'm very excited to see the future of these characters, and there's lots of moments I really dig that I'm excited to talk about in spoilers. So anything else we want to talk about non-spoilers before we get into this?
I don't think so.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to throw to our first ad break. Sometimes these can be a little loud. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. So it could be for McDonald's, could be about alcoholism. That's all up to the eye of the beholder. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get this ad break, and then we're going to be back talking about the spoilers of this finale, because I think there is a lot to break down. So we'll be right back.
Bye.
Said bye. I feel like you should say bye at the end of the episode, because what if they're like, oh, it's over, that's it, they only did the spoiler, that's it, Taylor, cut the feed. No. Where do we let's start with some of those negatives. Where do we want, like, so I all in the game shout this out, Fractual Wolf shout this out, let's start there. And I think this was mine as well, so if I'm going to be the most positive, I'll start with my negative. The Nakajima scene was like a really, like, I won't say I want to say, okay, maybe it was a letdown, but it's like something like I expected that scene to happen, but it wasn't one of my like, oh, I need to see the scene. But I think the problem with that scene of him going to him and he's doing the whole amending, right? He's saying, I killed your son, things like that. I think the problem with the Winter Soldier is if we were to sit in that scene, it would be a lot of Bucky being like, well, I was in World War II and then I got kidnapped by this guy named Zola. And then it's like, I think there was a better way they could have done that. Maybe cutting to the end of their conversation after he had said all that. Like, just don't even show us the part where he's explaining how he's the Winter Soldier. Because I just feel like it's a lot to, like, he's like, your son was killed. And then the guy's like, what? By the Winter Soldier. What? And I'm the Winter Soldier. What do you mean? But I had no control in it. Like, it was really, like, the way it was told was, I just felt like they didn't have exactly, like, nobody in the room could crack, like, how do we do the scene, have some emotion? And even when he, like, walks by the bar and Nakajima's, like, having his drink and he head nods to the girl, that felt like, no, this doesn't feel completely resolved. But for me, it wasn't like, I guess it wasn't I want it to happen, so I'm glad we got that, like, button end, but it wasn't a big thing for me, so it wasn't a big letdown, but I can see people poking a hole in that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because, like, when he showed up his door, I almost, like, forgot that, like, this even happened, like, earlier on in the show. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're here. This is going to be a nice little moment. But then, yeah, he just sat down, like, especially, like, I was expecting the emotion that I got from, like, the Wakandan scene, when, like, actually seeing, like, Bucky maybe, like, breaking up, because it is a really heavy thing, this guy that it's kind of, I don't know what the relationship is, kind of just
he couldn't
buddies.
cry again. He had one scene in the season where he's like, I can do this once, and that's it.
He emptied his tear ducts. But so I I feel like I almost could have just not had that because, like I said, I kind of, like, forgot about it, and then when I'm there, I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be a good scene, and then it just wasn't. I'm like, fucking cock teasing there. So then, yeah, that was kind of strange when they're outside the restaurant, because I almost was, like, expecting that woman to, like, come out and talk to Bucky, just the way that she was eyeing him, and then she, like, got up, like, it looked like she was going that direction, and then he just kind of takes a step back, and it just kind of felt
like,
disjointed.
I got Sarah now, sorry.
Yeah, like, it was kind of a strange scene there for sure. Yeah.
And I still feel like when he gives her the head nod, she'd be like, what the fuck is this dude's problem? Like, not like she would give a happy nod. It's like, we kind of had a flirtation. We went on a date. You just randomly walked out and you're just going to give me a head nod and move on. It's like, and it's also like, did Nakajima tell her that he killed her son? Because I feel like she would have some questions. Like, Yeah, it was it could have been a little longer. Taylor, is that one of the scenes you were referring to?
Yeah, it was rushed, and I honestly was like when he was walking up to his apartment room, that's what I was expecting. Like, oh my god, we're gonna get another Wakanda follow-up scene. He's just gonna break down. Like, this is it. The last name is a book. This is huge for his character development. And yeah, they closed the door on him. We got to see some smoke flutter in the distance. It's like, well, we missed the whole conversation. I felt like they just ran out of time. They're like, okay, Bucky, walk in, walk out. Let's get the fuck out. Just totally butchered it.
He walks out, Nakajima's dead. Like Bucky didn't know how to handle it, so he just snapped and like, oh, I don't know what happened. He passed away of a massive heart
Jeez.
attack that broke his neck. But yeah, no, that was this point. Taylor, was there any more of the rush scenes, or was that the only one in particular?
The very ending of them, like I felt like them when they were all partying, just having a good time with Sam's family and neighbors just on the docks and everything. And then Bucky came in and was hanging out and talking. Like, it just felt like this was a quick, not even a minute long scene. It just went by way too quick. I would have loved to have seen like a little bit slowed down, like have the fun, like fast paced, have the fun fast paced aspect to it. But then just at the end, like we just got, again, it felt too quick of Bucky and Sam looking out the water. I would have loved them just to be like, maybe it was the way it was filmed, a different shot of them just kind of like really taking in that moment together, and it really settling in that this whole adventure has really brought these guys together as friends, and more like just the fact that they're with this whole tribulation they've gone through dealing with what Captain America left behind in his legacy. This is supposed to be so defining of that, but I felt like it was so rushed, whereas the last episode was so well paced and it delivered on their progression and their bond. If you compare these two episodes, the last one did so much more in that regard, but this one was just too rushed.
Well, see, and that's where I'd push back that they did that last episode, so you don't need to do that again. You don't have to have that.
True, but I would have rather it
and
been switched, though. I would have rather it been swapped around just as a finale.
Maybe, but I think it went good with him. See, where I push back is because he's training him, and also the whole conversation is about like how, like one of the points is how me and Steve didn't see how a black man being Captain America would be a problem. He couldn't have that conversation after Sam like lands down with the suit, because it just be like, oh, okay, you just decided to be Cap. So it had to be last week. It had to be that last push to you be Captain America. And see, I got the exact opposite effect when they are looking at the water, and that's what I like, that there was no words. It was just they have an understanding of each other, and I absolutely loved seeing Bucky be like a normal person. Thank you, Fracture Wolf. Yeah, you share that comment, Taylor. You like it. No, like I loved seeing Bucky be a normal person. When he showed with the cake and he's like play fighting the kids and everything like that, the kids are hanging off. I loved it, because this is what we were talking with Hansi in Discord, and you know, hashtag Hansi, you're wrong. But she said that Bucky was gonna die, and I just felt like no, because I still feel like there's a little bit more, and his journey is still beginning now. At the end of next season, maybe, but I feel like he still should have some time to be like Steve, how he gets to go off the pass with Peggy. He should get his moment now too. Of course, he's probably gonna be a crime fighter, stuff like that. But now it's like he can have a relationship with Sarah. He can interact with kids and not have to worry about killing them. Like he has this whole life now, and he seemed like for the first time, maybe a little bit last week, but I just watched First Avenger again, and he's like happy and go lucky, talks with Steve. This is like the really first time ever it felt like that Bucky from the very first time we met him when he was James Buchanan. And I loved that scene. I love the cooking. Oh, and all the food made me want to go back to New Orleans so bad. And the soundtrack. So no, that last scene really played for me. I thought it was like this journey's finally come to an end, and it's just like, here we are. And then just that last stinger was perfect of Captain America and Winter Soldier. And that's probably what the next season will be called. And that was just like, mwah, like chef's kiss right there. Like,
totally.
That's how you end the show.
Yeah, that food, my gosh, my belly was gurgling just watching that stuff. I was like, oh, that looks so, like I could like smell the imagery.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I liked all that stuff too. And then yeah, when that Captain America came, I like got chills. I was like, oh yeah, here we go. This is awesome. And I mean, like, shouts out to Sam, man. Like he just was totally Captain America in my eyes. Like just his persona, the way he was talking, he seemed so much more confident. Whereas like Sam as Falcon, I felt like he was kind of like he was always wise, and like I don't know, it's interesting too, because like I just watched Winter Soldier, and like that's kind of like his introduction, and then like to see him where he is now, it's like, man, like this is major evolution with his character, and I love it. And yeah, that I got to see his like flips and stuff that he was practicing in the last episode.
Probably couldn't hit shit, you know. It was the brawn versus the speed. Well, yeah, because I just watched Winter Soldier 2, and just to feel like go from him throwing his resume on the table with Cap and Black Widow, like, oh, this is my resume, and just like he's just a flight guy. That of course is some training, but like now where he is, and that's the thing where like he did feel like Captain America, but the good thing is like he had his own tone, because like while he was talking to the governors and whatnot, he actually dropped the word shit in the middle of his speech. So that's where like he has the leadership and the backbone and the dignity of Captain America, but it's different than Steve, where Steve is kind of the nice, like, well, we have to do this, and this is the way of America, and he's the very happy-go-lucky guy, and that worked for Steve. But Sam, in a good way, is kind of like in front of your face, like, no, we need to change now, and it should be, because what we've talked about these last few episodes and weeks, as far as, you know, a black man and Captain America, he's gonna have a lot more pressures. And I love the shot when he's like, every time I pick up this shield, there's going to be millions of people who think I can't do it. And they switch over to John Walker. And it's perfect, because John Walker had this moment of like realizing like, yeah, that's why he should be Cap, because I couldn't even do that. Like, and he was a white guy, but like millions of people didn't trust John Walker, and he snapped. We saw how the pressure got to him, right? Where he's saying, I'm taking this. Even right now, people around this area are looking at me, and I can feel the judgment. And that's what I like too. Like, again, we should have known this last week, but the second he became Captain America, it wasn't just like, he's kick ass and here we go. Like, it legitimately in the middle episode, they talk about what him and Isaiah did. The cameras are watching. So I thought like he feels like Captain America, but it's his own spin, which exactly what I want. I don't want him just to be Chris Evans, right?
No, 100%. And like Steve, like, he's such a nice guy that, you know, like, he would be addressing these issues, but also he just doesn't understand the level of like a black man would know, right? So I love seeing like the different because like they both stand for that symbol, but definitely their own like takes. And like even when Sam was fighting Bucky, or when Sam was fighting Carly, and she's like, stay down, and he kind of got up, and in my mind I'm like, I kind of hope he doesn't just say like, I can do this all day. I was expecting it, because I'm like, I don't want just like a new thing, you know. And then he had his own lines like, no, short and sweet, but still, it, like
that's his tagline. Yeah, all the toys now are just Sam Wilson as Captain America. No, but like I did worry. Yeah, I think he said. I think he just said no, I won't. But I was worried he was gonna be like, I can do this all day. I was like, don't do this.
In the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, like I do love that line, but let's also separate ourselves, you know, from the last Captain America. And I'm so glad it didn't go that route, you know. And he is, I mean, like Fracture Wolf shout out, like Steve couldn't fly. Like they obviously have their differences, but also just their character differences. And like you mentioned, like his little speech there, like that's so different from what Steve would have done, you know. And like Steve would have done a nice, pretty speech, but it I feel like it wouldn't have been as real as Sam's. And like Steve always was the guy to like kind of, I mean, when you get into like the Civil War stuff and even Winter Soldier, he's like questioning authority and stuff like that. But Sam is just doing it on like a different level, because he's talking about more like social issues, I guess, right? And
well, in Captain America, the whole reason he does that is because when he's in Winter Soldier, he finds out S.H.I.E.L.D. is all bad, right?
Yeah.
And the government changed on him, where like Sam has dealt with injustices his whole life. So it's like Captain America just once had it, and then he still can't trust anybody. But the good thing is too, like, and they filmed some this finished COVID, so maybe they could change some speeches, but either way, it's still warranted as far as, and we won't get into it completely, but like you have the race stuff, but then you also have them talking about this act and like the GRC and everything like that. And they're saying like, you know, you make these decisions for everybody, but when you look in the room, do you see anybody but yourself? Like, I'm paraphrasing, but he's pretty much just saying like, you're just making decisions that are going to affect you, people that are the rich people that are already well taken care of. What about the people that can't take each other? And it's just, it's very fitting, especially right now. I feel like with like COVID all around, that's been a big push and pull as far as like, is the government doing the right thing? Are they looking out for, we've talked about that on After 9. It's like, why is this thing open? Why is that not? Well, it's a financial reason. Why is it like, why should we worry about financial reasons? And it's like, so it's that thing of like, it kind of unfortunately pays true to like a lot of generations and decades, but especially right now, it's like, man, the show it feels very current. Like, it feels like obviously they wrapped this weeks ago, but it feels like they just filmed it like last week and said some of the stuff, you know. And like I said, COVID's happening, they can add some stuff, but still it all of it was very relevant.
Oh, 100%.
Taylor, you got anything more to add on Sam there? I know we'll talk about him again, but just that specific one.
I mean, honestly, he's just He was fantastic. Like, again, like there's not much to add on to what you guys said. He's just, he has to be his own unique character. He can't be copying exactly Captain America. Like, I am Sam Wilson. You know, he's got to be his own.
We shout out his suit and how awesome it looked, but I couldn't help but think of like the 1990s Captain America with the fake ears. I'm glad he had those real ears in here, but I just kept picturing the very goofy plasticky ones, and it was making me laugh.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that suit reveal is great. Like you see him flying, the shield comes through the window, and then he just lands, and it's in the red. So first like, okay, this is good. I want to see it like live, and like it's bright, but I love how bright it is. It's very accurate to the comic books, and it's just like I'm a sucker for like superheroes in white, so it's just like, man, it's such a good aesthetic. It goes great with the wings, and he looked good. And they did some really cool additions of like, there's that one moment where the helicopter's crashing down, and he like puts the shield up and then wraps his wings around the shield. Oh man, that was badass.
Dude,
like
I could like, yeah. Oof.
Yeah, so they just did a great job. Fractional says he thought it was great except for the neck. Neck didn't really bug me, and they can fine tune it. This is the first time they did it, right? So they could change some stuff up, but nothing really bugged me, I don't think, other than maybe like the shoulders looked a little bigger. But other than that, like, yeah, I don't know if that's because the wings, and maybe it's like for just even like a practical like real life version. Like, well, we need this to have it there. So, but either way, like the look, it looks great, and obviously I prefer it to his old look because the old look is fine. It's just like red, black, and silver. But like this is a sleek ass costume.
No, this is very sleek. And I was like the first time I saw him, like, oh man, this is so hype. Especially like how it looked with him like flying with the shield on. I'm like, this is the mo I've been waiting for all season, right? And I thought it looked awesome. There was this, I think it was kind of when he was with Carly after she was shot. He was like kind of kneeling down or something, and it was just more focused on like his upper body, and I love the color tone there. It was more of like almost like just like without the color. I feel like I couldn't see as much color in that instance, and I just liked it a lot more. But I'm excited to see more of it, and I thought it was a dope reveal for sure. And yeah, I liked all of it. I liked like the thing that would come up like around his ears, and like I loved all of it. Yeah.
Taylor, were you a fan of the suit, or was that rushed for you too?
It was so rushed. No, the only rush thing was the ending of this episode. The reveal, again, it was set up at the beginning or at the end of the last episode, which is good. And it was the action figure I saw a while ago. So I'm glad that they went with it because it looks great. His vibranium wings paired with a vibranium shield, like it's just such a stellar upgrade. It's perfect. The way he used the wings to just amplify and not rely on super strength. He's not a super soldier, and he works with it so well. Just
when he was standing off with Carly, and then he like jabbed his wings to the ground to like support him.
It was awesome.
Point, when he was fighting the Leaper, he just like he cocked his shield and used his jetpack to like push the shield into him. It's like, okay, and that's good because like Fracture Wolf pointed out too, like he has wings and he can fly, and that's the thing where you do got to make up of people will go, well, he's just a human. How could he become America? It's like now it's like the shield already is a weapon, the wings are more upgraded, and it's like he has gadgets. This episode showed like him saving people from helicopters, from different situations, Red Wings back, stuff like that. So it's like it's not just a dude with the shield. It's like it is, but it's like
Travis is a sucker for a hero with gadgets, aka Batman.
Well, yeah, Batman, but like that's Tony Stark, right? You'd rip him out of that suit, he's nothing, like what are you without the suit? Let's go a few rounds. Like that's the same thing. Like he goes to, and same thing with Carly. Like he didn't out brawn her. He just was like classic video game dodging the villain, where like he got a couple hits in when he needed to, but like the wing support, him flipping, he was just trying to avoid. He didn't want to fight her, which I like that was consistent. He never like threw that on the shield. Like, okay, that's it, I'm fighting. Like the whole time he would not fight her. He would defend, but that's where it shows, okay, there might be some brute guys in the show, but if he can flip like that, he'll find a way to buff out. He'll survive and he'll save the day. I think we should talk about, because I see the chats popping off, and let's talk about, because I'm sure this is going to be a controversial thing. And you know what, gentlemen? I've always found that mercy bears fruits than strict justice. I screwed up the line. But anyway, so John Walker, the most talked about character, I would say this season, really, until maybe Isaiah Bradley when he showed up. But as far as controversial John Walker, last time we left him, he was Tony Stark in a cave building the shield. And
let's talk about that shield first.
Well, I like that the first fight he had, it got fucked up like right away. Like I love that show. Like he tried to block Harley, boom, left a ding in. So here's the thing. we have so much to talk about, I think, with this character. They kept him alive. 2 thumbs up for me, because whichever route they go with this character, he's an interesting character. Especially at one moment, I was worried when he was trying to save the car. I was worried he was going to try to save it and fall, and the car would land on him till Falcon. I'm like, if they fucking do that, I thought that was going to happen. I thought before Falcon showed up,
like a cartoon.
yes, I thought that was going to happen. It's like, don't take the easy route, just kill him off. But they didn't. But the reason I'm so excited for this character to stick around is because, like I said before, I don't know when we get Frank Castle as the Punisher. I feel like because that Skull, Disney might avoid it. This is the closest I think we'll get to a while. And the episode was great. Action, fights, drama, all this stuff. But when you heard him in the street and you're like, Carly Morgenthau, and he's just like, I'm here for you. And just like, oh, Lamar was no. When I heard him scream, it was like, oh shit. And that's the good thing this character I think is going to provide in the future. He'll always have that oh shit moment because you don't know what you're going to get. And I've seen lots of debate in the chat already. For me, the redemption word, because there was 2 times as far as like he was fighting Carly and everything like that. And he was getting really mad, and then he sees the prisoners and he's fighting Carly. And again, there's a moment where he could go and chase and take out Carly, but then he turns, and this is why for me, and this is why I like, not that I've been defending him, but still kind of have these past few weeks, I feel like they've been still showing there's still like a good guy. There's still a good person in there, and it wasn't completely gone. Mm-hmm. And I felt like even last week they showed that even after he snapped and the shield was taken away. And this was the ultimate. The truck was going, and he put his vengeance aside. What he didn't do last time when he went and killed that flag smasher, whose favorite superhero was Captain America, he didn't put his vengeance aside. But this time he put it aside to save people like he was meant to do, like he was trained to do. And I loved all the back and forth, like him and Bucky being together. I was like, man, I want to see a full episode of this. Like when he dropped that Lincoln quote, he's like, Lincoln, really? He's like, great man, great president. He's like, yeah, but not when you say it. Like,
yeah, totally.
I just liked it because I know before I threw it, one of you guys, they were like in the chat, I saw the debate of like, what would the public do? I agree with Fracture Wolf in this moment. Like, the public might have some questions, but they're not going to interrupt him while he's fighting the terrorists on the ground. Like, I don't think they're going to be like, hey, didn't you, like, you're like, not Captain America anymore. Yeah, they're just going to be like, oh man, these innocent people are kidnapped and fake Captain America's here. Sure, let's do it. You know, it's the same thing as like, I'm sure many people during Infinity War and Endgame, when Bucky was there, they're not like, hey, didn't this guy kill Tony's parents? But they're like, yeah, but Thanos is here, so we kind of need him. Okay, sure. Like, that's what I mean. Like, in times of crisis, you got to turn to like enemies. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? And I actually loved everything, except I do agree with people that I think they rushed we got the suit, but I think they rushed, or we didn't get to see what is the public reaction, like what happened after. Like, but I do think because he's alive, this might be a cop out. We will see that in another season or another show. So I think we're going to get those answers just next year, though. And sure, you could have been the finale, but yeah, Taylor.
To piggyback on what Fractured Wolf says here, Fractured Wolf, I just want to confirm: are you implying that Val kind of instigated the thought into John Walker to actually save that truck to get back into the spotlight?
See, I would disagree with that. I don't think so. I think that was a genuine, he did it. I think Val's going to be like, so he's now teamed up. He's going to be with Madam Hydra. He has US agent. Look, it's all great. He's like, it's just black. And she calls him US agent. I think she's going to be the person that still pushes him to do those more risque things. Or is like, you need to get this done for whatever reason, whether she's bad, whether she's part of Thunderbolts. I think he did that on his own militia, because like there's my thing is like at one point he looked at the prisoners and then he left them. So to me, it was like a natural, like, you know what, I'm not doing the right thing. I'm trying to kill this woman. I need to save these people. So,
but that could have been a pre-existing conversation that Val had with him, though, because it would have been the setup.
I don't know. The conversation was, you're going to walk by the prisoners, look at them, not save them, and then you're going to walk away and then save them.
I think like, you know, you need to get back out into the spotlight, and you need to do something. You can't obviously be like, oh, there's going to be this van, you have to pull them up or try to save them. But like, she probably instigated, like, you need to get back out there and, you know, go back, try and kill her. What she did for your friend. Like, she was insinuating in the last episode, like, what they did to Lamar was wrong. You need to get out there and kill them. But at the same time, for all we know, she could have threw something else in there, like, you know, do something that makes you look a little bit good, and then you'll be back out there, and then I'll be able to help groom you along and send you back out there as U.S. agent. Like something along like that. Or an earpiece. I don't know if he had an earpiece, Fractured Wolf. This is interesting.
Yeah,
concept, but
I guess I just don't buy it. I think the reason they gave him that good guy moment is to show there's a good guy, but then if Val pushes him to do bad stuff, that's where he'll be at a crossroads. Because we know there's a good guy in there, but he is willing to cross the line if he's pushed. So I also think it would make him less interesting because I think them adding this wrinkle of him saving the people makes even the most people that hate John Walker go, like he still did this. And I think that makes it an interesting character. It's kind of like there were these theories that like Sharon Carter was being mind controlled or something like that. And I never liked that because it's just like, then you take away her as a character. So if it's like him being put out there, I feel like I like it better as he made the choice. But what about you, Kirkland?
Yeah, I mean I loved like that moment of him just kind of like scratching his head, and then he sees like the crossroad, and like that one decision probably would have like solidified, his stamp on where
100%.
he was going. And I loved it. Like as soon as that happened, I'm like, oh, here we go, this is it. And then like I'm really happy that they did redeem him, and like I'm just so happy that he's sticking around. I just love Wyatt Russell as this role. I think he's killing it, and all the controversy about people just like hating on him, I full support of him. Like, and then even more so for that reason. I think he's just doing so good. But anyways, I really really like that, but I still feel like it was a tad bit rushed of just like the chemistry almost that he had with like Sam and Bucky near the end. Like he didn't really get to talk to Sam, but like just him and Bucky, like the last time they saw each other, didn't they just like break his fucking arm and like steal the shield? And like they haven't said a word to each other, and the next thing you know, they're doing like buddy cop quotes to each other. Like I just felt like that was a little weird for me. Like I feel like I needed something more just to believe that like little chemistry that they had. I'm not saying I didn't like that. Like that line was good and all that stuff, but I just felt like I needed a little bit more to I don't know, believe that they could have that on-screen chemistry. But I guess what I mean.
No, I agree with you. And I think with that, you have to headcanon it because it's like the same thing I said last week where I feel like they both didn't really want to hurt John. They just wanted Bucky wanted the shield and Sam wanted him to stop. Because like I always said before, Falcon coming up right away and being like, hey, you're in the heat of the moment. People understand. To me, that was right away them saying like, hey, we understand what happened. You made a big mistake, but like, you can get past this. So, but I agree with you that it was like to jump to it right away. But then I almost think that them seeing that moment of him saving someone goes like, okay, he is on our side. And it's almost like the public thing, right? There's no time to question it. Should they be quipping? Yeah. I don't know. But then I just kind of liked John Walker actually quipping, which was weird because it's just like he's awkward about it. Like when he says his Lincoln quote, it's like, okay, but I and like there's that moment when they're looking for Carly and the gang and they're holding the ground and it's like Sam's leading them like Bucky and then US agents beside him. I was like, this is fucking weird. Like John Walker's just like a part. He feels like that guy who's just like joined up in the squad. Like no one really knows him. He's someone else's friend of the party, but he's like, I know you
the
guys.
The little brother you get forced to bring along with you.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and like just that moment when they two split up, like are we just gonna think that they didn't talk to each other? Like obviously what we saw on screen, they just were walking silently with each other. It's just, I don't know. It was a little weird for me, but I'm not saying I didn't like it overall because I am happy that he's going the more redemption side. I love that like suit reveal. It's very similar to like his Captain America one, but I liked how he was like, I'm coming back, like that's his kind of path to redemption. Yeah.
And I just feel like, I don't know. If I was his wife, I'd be like, let's not do this. Like when he's just like, I'm back. Like this is why I'm just excited for this character. And this is the other thing, just like the way at the public, I think you will get scenes of him with Sam and Falcon. And I think it's going to be almost like a Civil War thing where he's going to want to do things a certain way. I guess not Falcon, now Captain America. And then they're going to want to do things a certain way. So I think I'm not making an excuse for the finale because it should be in there. You could make it longer, but I think there is some stuff they're definitely doing a second season of the show. They set up so much stuff, they left it open. So I feel like even those conversations with Bucky and Sam, they're going to say that for next season for them to be like, yeah, like let's talk about what happened where they couldn't this time. They were in the heat of the moment. Like Carly's popping off, Sharon's there, Batrock's there, bombs are going off. So I get it, but I do want some pickup of it next season, but I think we will. And I'm very interested to see what they do with them, No,
100%. Yeah.
Taylor, what about you? Where are you on Mr. John Walker?
Again, I feel bad because I kind of chuckle. Like he got his ass handed to him, especially when Carly swung around, like when he was tailing her. She swung around and just decked him, and he was down for the count. Like he's just
He had a good comeback though. At one point, he took out 2 of them, and then he was kicking Carly's ass for a bit, but he didn't see that slide kick.
did.
coming.
I just feel like I don't understand why he just is it his training or what's going on? Like I don't know why he's just getting beat up so much. He's just like all brawn, no brain kind of a guy. But at the
He's
end of the
mentally
day,
distraught. Yeah.
at the end of the day, he
and remember, he did go
make,
toe to toe with Sam and Bucky last week, 2v1, pretty good. So
Oh yeah,
I feel like that's
true.
like an adrenaline rush though. Like he's just
Yeah.
so in the red that just
that's what he
you
needs.
know?
He needs a Lamar to die every time, and he'll kick ass.
But yeah, I liked him in this episode. I got a good dose of John Walker, I'd say, and just when he's holding that broken shield that's getting damaged and he sees his star, and he just gets angry again. That rush and
So
it's
funny
just-
too. Like last week when he was hammering in those metals, I was like expecting them to be on the front. I was so happy that it was actually just like a makeshift Captain America, and then they had because I was like expecting this tin foil looking thing with just like 3 Medal of Honors just stamped in the front. Like so overall I'm happy with how it looked, and I forgot to shout out that line when Carly was like, I didn't mean to kill someone so insignificant, and then he's like, how could you say that to Lamar? I don't remember the exact quote, but
It was like I think she said something like he didn't mean anything, but she meant it as far as like she wants to kill people meaningful to the cause. I would get her mission, but he took it as like, oh, you don't think Lamar means anything, and he snapped.
That's how I would have took it, because like her delivery was like that. Yeah.
And Fracture Wolf brought up like how she get combat trained. She didn't, but like I think the reason he doesn't destroy her easier, like I guess you can make the point, right? He is a super soldier serum. He's trained where she's a super soldier serum and she's not trained. One, we don't know her backstory, but exactly, she's been a teacher, so she's probably not trained that much. But I guess it's just that I don't think he's weak. I think he's just a head case, and I think he just does not think strategically. He's just running there like a bull in a china shop. He sees his goal. Like I said, he didn't snap out and realize those prisoners were really there until he saw them in life peril. So I feel like he maybe could like take on Carly eventually, but if he gets too worked up, it's like a bunch of energy Red Bulls. He's frothing at the mouth. So
yeah.
And then Fractured Wolf, I think, brought up was is this the first like anti-hero other than Loki? And like in the MCU, I'd have to think like I feel like you can soon or at least start counting Baron Zemo as well, because he helped out. He didn't kill our heroes when he could have. So I feel like he's going to, but yeah, it might be. And I love anti-heroes. There's a good story there. With Loki, I think there was lots of potential there, and they kind of missed it. They kind of talking about Rush. I think that was probably have Ragnarok as well, that they rushed his storyline. There was lots of comedy there. So yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think about it, but I think so. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head that stands out as like a villain that's on our side now,
Yeah, I got such a weak spot for anti-heroes. I mean, like Venom, that's basically an anti-hero, right? So, yeah.
We are going to take our second ad break, and then we're going to get more into this episode. So we'll be right back. So we are back. So I want to talk about Zemo quickly, because not before I forget about him, but I also want to talk about, so I had a little joke when we started the episodes. I went, oh, it's 2 hours just to fool these guys and whatnot, and got some chuckles.
I fell for it. I didn't see the the runtime at first. I'm like, holy fuck, I'm up all night.
And then Taylor decided to get me back, which, chat, you can tell me what's worse, me saying the episode's 2 hours and then right away knowing, oh, it's not 2 hours, or Taylor lying and saying there's 2 end credit scenes. Because guess what?
You can't one-side it. You have to say you lied as well.
No, I'm saying which lie is worse. Which lie is worse?
He said that. I will go next.
Which lies worse, because he said there's 2 end credit scenes, and to me, I like the first one. We'll talk about it, but I was like, okay, that was fine. But we knew, like, here comes another one. Here we go, and nothing. And like, I'll talk about what it could have been, but yeah, what do you think, Kirklin?
I mean, like, to defend Taylor here, like, yeah, there's 2 end credit scenes. As soon as the first end credit scene ended, like the episode just ended for me. Like it just took me to like WandaVision, like whatever suggested next. So it's not like I was waiting around for the next end credit scene. I was originally.
I didn't know. I thought it might do that still.
I also, in my defense, as soon as I said that, I immediately dropped a got him GIF implying that I was joking.
I threw my phone aside because I didn't want him to pop off.
That's
and say
not my
anything.
fault.
But I think everyone listened to me like message us
listen to
on
me.
yeah, everyone listen to me. Message us on Facebook, Twitter, Discord. Check out the Discord down below and tell us whose lie was worse. But anyways, because Taylor then before show, he's like, well, what would have been? Why would there be 2 end credit scenes? I don't know. Since week 1, we've talked about, gee, are they going to do the Thunderbolts? They sure have Zemo around for a reason. And I was disappointed in that. As far as I think we'll still see Zemo, but I hate it's a whiny fan thing, right? But we hear all these rumors that their Thunderbolts are coming. They're doing the Thunderbolts. And I thought, here we go. We're finally going to get it confirmed. And then we get to see with Val. Okay, no Thunderbolts there. She might be, but no special, like, you're doing this team or we're putting a team together. Okay, so I'm like, this end credit scene. We're going to have Thunderbolt Ross, talk to Zemo. I even got my Twitter handle ready. I changed it to Thunderbolt Snail. I got to change in the morning. I was like, the Thunderbolts, I thought for sure was happening because I thought, with Bear and Zemo being in this, they have to do something with him. And just to do that scene where he heard about the car bombing news and then nothing else, I was disappointed by that. It's a needy fan thing because I want more Zemo, sure, but I just don't know. I feel like if they do Thunderbolts, let's say next year at the investors call, they announce we're doing Thunderbolts. If they're not doing it, that's fine. But if they are, it's like this to me was the perfect place to start those wheels in motion. Especially, I think Zemo would be involved in that. So I was quite disappointed. So Taylor, that's why I was surprised when you said, what would it be? It's we've been talking about this for weeks about Zemo getting an
wheels. I want to say the wheels are already in motion. I feel like them to blatantly show us a scene of things coming together and the raft, I think that's unnecessary. This whole show with US Agent, Baron Zemo, and other characters that they're alluding to, I feel like it was totally a setup for Thunderbolts. I don't think we need that confirmation. I think whenever they choose to in this season 2 of this or a movie or whatever, they say, or investors call, they say it's happening, then we've already got all the stones that have been set in place for it.
See, I disagree. You go for that hype moment. You set up the volley. You have General Hurt, you have William Hurt come in there, say the words Thunderbolt, say something. It just felt weird that all we got is that one quick scene of the cell. I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, I was obviously we've all been thinking about Thunderbolts throughout the series, but just in that moment, I was like, well, maybe if there's no COVID, maybe we got that scene. Maybe they just have more time, more freedom to shoot that sort of things if they wanted to. Again,
yeah, maybe
it's kind of loosened up. Maybe not so much, but I was okay with it. I'm not gonna lie too. When that car bomb went off, and for a split second, it just shows the side mirror and just some bald, creepy looking dude. I'm like, dude, Kingpin. Holy fuck!
I thought it was Kingpin too.
That's where my mind went,
Yeah.
and then it went to this lanky old dude. I'm like, I really hope not now.
That's our Kingpin. And I felt I thought the pacing that was clunky because they have the rest of the Flag Smashers get in, and what's the saying? What's the new Hydra saying? It's one world, one people. Yeah. So you have the cop say that, and then he closes the lid, almost insinuating that he's with them, but he's not. I guess he was there to place the bomb, or was he with them? I don't know.
I don't know. I want to say he's with them, and then their plan just went awry.
Imagine that he's with them. He's like, yeah, we're getting these guys fucking out of here tonight. And then literally 5 seconds later, they just explode in the car, and he's like, oh shit. I guess that's not happening anymore. But then, so they, like I said, they had that scene. They show the older guy, the white gloves. I was like, that's a choice. All right. I don't know if we needed that, but these really old white gloves. And then we have Baron Zemo in the jail listening to this. And then we have Val being like, it was Zemo's car bomb. And so it was just would anyone buy that? Would anyone buy that Zemo fucking had the time to go?
I don't think they said it was Zemo.
That's what Val implied. That's what Val. I swear I heard that Val implied.
I took it as she was implying that he's going to be able to rest easy because his how he prophesized what would happen has finally happened.
I'd have to go back, but I swear that's what they're talking about. But maybe, and then she just pretty much gives away that it was her that did. She's like, "Oh, I couldn't do something like this, but I could if I want to, but I didn't do it."
I thought that was the same old guy that was working for the power broker for Sharon. I thought at one point.
Did we see that old guy before?
I thought we had saw him before.
Oh, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that either. All I remember from Madripoor is poor Selby, and that living room. Shout out, because I guarantee you after this we'll never talk about Selby again. So RIP one last time to Selby. Everybody, don't put fucking huge windows in your living room, all right? Okay, so Fractional's gonna update us here in a second, but
he was the butler on the plane. Oh, Zemo. Oh, right. Yeah, so that's a good one.
So was Zemo that had the bomb there?
Yeah.
Because like I feel like so here's my problem
Why
with
else
the
would they
direct.
show Zemo in that moment then?
Okay, but here's my problem. To me, when you watch that scene, it felt like Zemo was like unsure. Like he felt like he was like, "Oh, I'm getting framed for like." It didn't feel like he was like, "Yeah, fuck
In
yeah."
the
Like I took
jail
the
cell, I took it as
yeah.
he was finally at peace, at rest,
Yeah.
because he killed Soups, the last of them.
Well,
So
no, but there's not the last of them. The fucking Hulk exists. That's not the last of
It's
them.
the intro of them.
that's
Still
the
got Bucky
different
out there.
Soup.
See, I did not. I'll have to watch it again tomorrow. I did not get that vibe that he was like, "Yeah, impressed." I got that vibe like he was still like, what's my next step, or where do I go, or what is happening?
Where do I go? He's stuck in a cell. I guess I'll go to this side.
I meant like what's his play to get out of there. But
yeah, no, for sure.
yeah. Where else? What else have we not talked about that you guys want to know?
Isaiah.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah, good one.
Need it, Taylor.
I love that
So-
quick line. I think is it his son or his nephew or something when he's like, "Hey, Black
Nephew.
Falcon."
Her
Oh,
it's his grandson, I think.
whatever
Yeah.
it was, that line was awesome.
Yeah, Isaiah, I think it was just, again, as far as like the stories go and the ending and conclusion of these arcs, I think I'm hoping we get to see more down the road, but I'm totally okay with this being the end of it. Like, I think like his reward, that what Sam did for him, oh man, that was just so powerful. I love seeing him walk into Captain America's museum and there's this big statue of Isaiah. I just think that was freaking fantastic. It's just the cherry on top, because him just kind of being like proved wrong about, there being like a Black Captain America, and it just, seeing him just tear up for that, like, it's just it was great. It was really awesome.
Yeah. I love that. Again, we were like praising that actor. I don't know his name unfortunately, but
Carl Lumbly.
Carl Lumbly.
It's Lumbly.
Okay.
Lumbly.
So yeah. Mr. Lumbly, like he's just killing all those emotional scenes. Like I was getting like choked up just watching his emotion in that instance. I thought that was very powerful, and again, we praised him earlier on because he did awesome in the season, and I think that is a good like round out for him. But I still want to see more of him. I liked all of his interactions with Sam. I want to see more of their convos like going forward. Doesn't have to be a lot, but just sprinkled here and there, just to have a guy to kind of shoot the shit with and like talk about some issues. I want to see more of him. And I mean, Travis kind of alluded to his whatever it is, the young
I've
boy.
forgotten now. I swear these whole weeks, and now I feel like I've been confused as far as he's a grandfather / son. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
I
so
was like, yeah.
You were alluding that he kind of has a bigger role in the comics. I didn't want to look too further into that, so I'm assuming he's gonna get incorporated. The classic Feige's probably got a plan for him.
Well, yeah, and especially because so with Isaiah, like I think you will see him again. I'm of two minds of this. I guess I'm of three minds. I agree with Taylor as far as like his story is kind of not done, but I feel like it is like the loop is closed. There's this great moment, like when he hugs Sam. There's just so much emotion there. The statue and just that conversation of him talking about like actually seeing him as Captain America. And they have that quick shot of when Sam's talking on TV and him watching it, just realizing what's going down. And so yeah, that actor just fantastic this season. So I wouldn't mind seeing him again, but I just feel like a good ending that story, and Sam of course can come up to ask for help. He'll come to like with a picture of like Galactus and be like, so how do you think I take this guy down? And I see him be like, fuck, that's way past my pay grade. But like like, so anyways, so I could
I'm retired, right?
Yeah, I ain't getting into this shit. But like, there's two things I would take or see. One, if they legitimately just announce, hey, we're doing like a mini, like one season of like a younger Isaiah and his stories, bring it on. Like, I'd love to see that. Yeah, and I'm not even a prequels guy, but I'd love to see that. But that's where I think his story is closed, but his grandson does have a role down the line. And I was surprised they didn't hint more at it. But I think with this show having a season 2, instead of rushing to what that character could become, you're going to see some development with him. And maybe Sam kind of bonds with him a bit more. Maybe, unfortunately, this might be it. Maybe Isaiah passes away. And that's how him and Sam get closer, because he needs somebody. He was close with his grandfather, and Sam's kind of that like shoulder to lean on. So I could see that. That might be depressing, but I could see it going down that route. So I think you will see a collection of those characters again. Maybe one of them, both of them, but I think you will down the line. But yeah, all that stuff, all that's to me almost been I don't know if I want to say almost. It probably has been the highlight of this series. Like they did that all really well, all the Isaiah stuff. And yeah, that museum, like we all knew was happening when he showed up. Like he wasn't just showing him the fucking Captain America museum, but like it was like you knew it was coming. That was when I was almost like choking. I was like, oh, this is acting wise, and and like he said, like now you have a place in history forever. So that was a good moment. So
Oh yeah.
let's see. I'll look at my notes, but anything else that you guys have together or have to shout out? Oh, well, I guess we haven't even talked about Sharon. We haven't even talked about, and I guess we haven't talked about, we'll talk about Carly quickly. I liked Carly. I think she had a good confrontation with Sam, but I also think killing her was the route to go. There's some villains where I feel like you don't kill them, where her, it just, I had the impression of, I think the actress did a good job. I think it served its purpose, but I didn't know where else you would go other than, I guess, the Flag Smashers could always just be a recurring bad guy group, which that's fine. But it just felt like her story was kind of, we talked about, it's almost like a suicide mission, and it ended up going that route, and she was so far gone. Like she was literally just like now fine with like burning. Fracture Wolf's very happy about Carly being killed off. Like she was literally just like, yeah, we're gonna burn these criminals alive in this truck. It's like, okay, now it's not even fun. Like you are giving these people terrible deaths. It's like she's more and that's where I think the finale did a good job, at least with Walker, as far as some stuff. They showed how far Carly had gone versus Walker, where if you look at their starting points, you would have thought Walker was going more off the deep end, but he eventually came back around and did some good deeds. Carly just kept going further and further away. So it's like somehow she ended up worse than John, and you don't want to be worse than John Walker, So
No.
I think the character was good. I think it served its purpose, and I don't need to see any more. So
No, yeah, 100%. I'm satisfied with her like exiting that way. I like the little moment too with Sam, like because there's a senator that was like calling her a terrorist and all these things, and then Sam's kind of defending like her cause, but not necessarily like the actions that she did,
she's
but
not
just
a terrorist.
like what she was kind of fighting for was not necessarily the deaths of people, but just like change, pushing towards change, and that was kind of like an underlying theme that Sam was pushing, and I thought that was good. And I mean, just later, like as the season was getting closer to the end, it just seemed like her character was going down that route of just like unsavable. Like she was getting super extreme and like just like she was literally, what was that line? She's like, oh, then we'll just kill the hostages. And whenever someone says that, they're going down a dark road.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was good.
Also, All in the Game says GSP's death was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
I would like a slightly stronger rating team for a second season. Did they ever confirm he was dead? He was just shot, and Sharon was shot, and Carly was shot. But Carly got shot, and then she got shot like a multiple times. But like, I could easily just see him being like a GSW to the stomach, and then he's back another season. I would actually love every season if he was back as like the reoccurring, like he's always there to mess up with Falcon. So like he could be dead, sure, but I wouldn't say for sure that he is dead. And yeah, the Fracture was compared to Crossbones. If so, then yeah, because when I watched the War, I'm like, man, I wish Crossbones was alive right now for this show. But I think if we didn't see him taken out on a gurney with a body bag, I wouldn't count out GSP yet. I just feel like they would even mention that, like, oh, Batroc also died too. They didn't even say that. So I actually did not take it out he was dead. I think he just was incapacitated. What about you guys? Do you think he's a goner? Or you think we might see him again?
I want him back. I want to just keep getting his like super bad English accent mixed in with some French every once in a while. But yeah, no, I agree. I want to see him. I want to see him back. But part of me thinks he just died off screen like that, which is a little underwhelming. But
John Walker came back. He's like, I'm still alive. And John Walker just did that finisher move on him. They're like, how did Batroc die? Well, Sharon Carter shot him. Well, how come his head's completely caved in? Like, oh, she got a real good headshot on him. Like, they just completely cover up for John.
Just like just dripping.
Yeah, half of his face is stuck to the shield. Like, I don't know what this is. I found this on aisle 5. What about you, Taylor? Do you think he's dead or alive?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I feel like he got I feel like, I don't know, even Crossbones, when they supposedly killed him, he was in like a post-credits kind of like weird hospital scene, right? So I mean,
well, and that was in Winter Soldier. A building fell on him, and then he was still alive. So
yeah, I feel
it is
like
true. On the game does say though a gunshot killed Carly. So that's always one problem I have with the super soldiers. I don't actually know what can kill them, because I feel like some stuff they're impervious to. Like Captain America got fucking domed in the head by Thanos in Infinity War and got up in 5 minutes later. but Carly gets shot with a regular bolt to the stomach and it's all over. So I think that's always been a problem with the MCU as far as the survival power level rate of like what
I think
can
it
this person
depends on
survive?
the serum, right? I mean, Captain Steve Rogers had like the OG, like that was
Oh,
the
yeah.
serum.
That is
was
the maple syrup,
prime.
like straight from the tap.
Oh yeah.
America.
Yeah. Anything else on Carly? I was gonna shift towards Sharon.
Yeah,
I
let's talk
think
about.
I think GSP, like, I don't think he's gonna come back. But as far as Carly goes, I do agree with you guys. Like, I feel like it was her time to kind of like exit the franchise. I don't feel like she was a one and done villain for this season. I don't think she's gonna have anything else. And it segueing into the Power Broker. Her death branches off to the main bigger villain and the bigger problem to deal with. So.
Well, yeah, and Amir sets it up perfectly. Says, "Hey, everyone, so Sharon is still evil. Yes, she's very much evil, apparently. So and you know what? I'm just gonna take a little victory lap dance here, and I'm gonna say a hashtag Trash told you because I brought up that, you know what, when she got in that limousine, something was off with this character and she might be the Power Broker, and lo and behold, here we are. And they do that very, very like,
I don't know if you were the one who initiated. I thought it was like Fractured Wolf or someone in the fans
No.
started the idea.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like we all kind of agreed in that moment, though. It's just like Travis is just trying to take all the credit.
Go listen, I brought up first. That's what I'm saying.
Because maybe you just took the mic because you just are the leader. Travis and friends.
Travis and
mute my
GeekVerse.
mic.
That's gonna in 2022. That's what we're renaming the podcast.
I just bring it
Travis
up and you muted my mic, and then you take my idea.
It's like Tom Petty and the Heartbreaks. No, go back and listen. Episode 3, it's all there. It's recorded just because I talk about with other people too. And you know I like to gloat. But so Sharon was confirmed as Power Broker as literally just like, you're the Power Broker. Like they literally just shouted out there. Like it was like,
fans.
Okay.
She's the Sharon. She's the Power Broker.
It was like, okay, it's like Agatha when Agatha was like, it's nice to meet you, Scarlet Witch. I'm Agatha Harkness. And it's just like the way these villains introduce themselves, it's like, fuck, like they are really trying to nail down like this is the bad guy. So I like it. It's kind of everything we talked about as far as like she's set up to be the season 2 villain. I like it. I know some people might look at the character and go, oh, do we really want her evil? She's tied to Peggy, but it's like I think they've set her up good as far as her friends, the government. They threw her aside in a time where she was helping some people that were right or could argue to be right. And I liked the end credit scene because I was worried when they're like, do you want her position back? I thought it was going to be something really dramatic where she'd be like, no, I'm moving. Like I thought, like, don't do this, don't be cheesy. But the fact that she played is like she's really emotional and she can't wait to get back to work, and it makes perfect sense because she's like, yeah, I don't need the super soldier serum. I have all these government secrets now. It's like, so now we're gonna have very Winter Soldier, Hydra, like again, someone inside working. But I like it, and I think for the actress and the character, it makes her more important than she has ever been. So,
yeah, no, I agree. I mean. Yeah, I have nothing really else to add other than I loved her like reveal when she saw Bucky because she had like the exact same like face covering thing that oh my gosh, Black Widow had, and especially because I just watched Winter Soldier and like that reveal is just like the exact same thing. And I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna be Black Widow, and then yeah, no, just for that split instant, but I don't know. What do you think about Sharon and the Power Broker and the obvious reveal that we all saw kind of come in? And
it was very
Travis
obvious.
is trying to take the claim.
Yeah, he was trying to take solid.
Is that where he went? He went for his victory lap. He's probably out on the streets right now saying hashtag Travis told you so.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like we just all agreed on it. Like, anyone that's just gets into a limo and has all this power and artwork, how would you not think something's sus? But anyways, so it's just her character. I'm excited to see what comes out of it. Just you have this iconic hero who's basically fought for her country, started S.H.I.E.L.D. and is like the pillars to this organization that is supposed to like oppose Hydra and work with the Avengers and everything. And now you have that same name that's basically turning on this country for good reason, obviously, to her for the damage they did to her. Oh yeah, for what they did. Yeah, it's the same. You know
what's going to happen if the government ever excommunicates Taylor? He's just going to come back as a fucking mobster.
She was standing up for Captain America and Falcon. They all were in the same boat together, but she couldn't go to Wakanda. The law. Yeah, they were breaking the law, but for the right reason.
Oh, right reason. I thought you were Team Tony.
I
It
am
shouldn't
Team
be the right
Tony.
reason. Yeah, then
I am
it
Team
wasn't the right
Tony.
reason, was it? No, it wasn't. For
You just put
you,
words in my mouth.
well, you're saying they broke the law for the right reason, but if you're Team Tony, they can't break the
So
law.
I am Team Tony, but I don't believe in the Sokovia Accords.
Well, that's not Team Tony then. He literally wants
Yeah,
to
it
lock
is.
up Paris. No, it's not.
No, because he realized and he had to call upon Captain America for help. So he realized that things were different and they couldn't rely on the governments.
Technically, he actually never called Captain America. Captain America came to him. Captain America and Captain Marvel saved them in space, and then Captain America showed up on his doorstep in Endgame to say, "Hey, we want to do time travel." Tony not once called them. He gave him the shield back, sure, but he not once called them.
He pulled out the cell phone. He was going to call him. he was ready to dial him in. So,
but reluctantly, it wasn't a choice of will or anything. Did Yuri forgive Bucky? Who was Yuri? Was it the
Yuri was the older chap, I believe.
Was that his first name? We don't know in that scene, but I would assume he was having a drink and he had a smile. So I guess the talk went well about this Terminator killing his son. I guess I don't know.
So strange, yeah. Like just that whole setup. Like you're expecting like a big resolution, maybe tears from both gens, but then it's just like,
oh, it was rushed. He's sipping his sake and just talking to the waitress.
Your son died. Your son died by the Winter Soldier. I'm the Winter Soldier. You'll never see me again. Goodbye.
And he runs out the door, doesn't walk. All in the game says struggle with the fact because she gave Captain Falcon shield wings, she wouldn't get pardoned, but Bucky murdering hundreds over decades is fine. BW Cat Falcon getting pardoned is also okay. Well, same thing. That's always been my fun point about John Walker, right? As far as like he kills one dude and they're taking everything away from him. But here in these, like Bucky, I give a pass because like legitimately, if they were to prove, hey, there was a piece of machinery in the sky, that wasn't him doing it. That, like, to me, it was just like someone using his body. That would be like, I'm not going to get into other things like that, but I don't think he should be pardoned. He should be completely fine. If there's proof that there's nothing going to go wrong with him, which they would probably look into with the therapy and everything like that, I think he's fine. And I guess, Falcon is he's new Captain America. So he gets some more laws. Look at John Walker. He had some new laws when he was Captain America, got to do stuff. H-Town Boss said underwhelming. Oh, that's unfortunate that if you thought the finale was that way, but hey, that's happens sometimes, So, anything else specifically? Like I said, I like what they do with Sharon. I think it's going to be interesting to see what they tackle with her next year.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's going to be fun seeing her play like the mastermind and, yeah, like it's interesting because I feel like I've seen a type of character like that, or like a character archetype where she's like the one running the show, but she's also in a place of higher power. I mean, fuck, that's like, what's his name? Pierce from S.H.I.E.L.D. So
Alexander
it's like,
Pierce.
but like normally you wouldn't get that reveal till later on. Whereas now we're going into a season where she's going to be in a higher role, but we know that she's, the power broker. So it's going to be interesting how they tackle it there. And
it's a fun dynamic.
No, fun. Yeah, definitely.
A few things I want to shout out. They brought back the Winter Soldier face tech that Black Widow used when she pulled it off. That's what Sharon used. And do you remember that? You just watch Winter Soldier when Black Widow pretends to be the older woman, like the senator or whatnot, and she takes off. Kirklin does not remember at all, apparently. So,
fun fact.
Fun fact. I brought that up when you walked away.
Okay,
actually.
sorry. Well, you could have stopped me. You could have just said, "Hey."
No, I wanted you to have your moment.
I thought that's fun. Who do you all think she's talking to specifically in the post-credit scene? I don't think anyone specific right now, Wolf. I think that
it's
just
probably like, GSP or whatever his name was.
Yeah, Selby's back.
Selby He's like on the ground. Come get me. With so much pain.
The reason for her not getting pardoned still doesn't make sense. They wanted a character change for her, so banning. So I'll disagree. They're all in the game because I feel like after the snap, if you looked at everything, I don't think, like, look at the government in real life. I don't think they would have given a fuck about Sharon Carter after Thanos showed up. I don't think they would have been like, oh, and let's make sure. So that's why I actually didn't mind the speech when they're like, yeah, like the country forgotten about your family and you and what you did. So, like, and yeah, someone brought like the president would partner. Yeah, but it's the MCU world, so who knows? There might even be a fucking president right now in the MCU world. We don't know after the snap, right? Maybe they abolished that, but like, I bought it enough to be like, after the snap and everything that happened, Civil War, she would get lost in the shuffle because for a while she was just a criminal, right? For 2 years she was a criminal, and then she went to Madripoor. So I would believe that not in the middle of the snap they'd be like, we got to track down Sharon Carter and find her. And then H. John said, so are they abandoning the White Wolf thing with Bucky? like some people had that idea. I never took it that they were going to call him the White Wolf. I know he's been called in the comics. I think Nomad might be more particular. Maybe he will get that next year because, yeah, I don't think he wants to be the Winter Soldier. That's still a bad thing unless he wants to redeem that names. But, and same thing, all the game says senators don't hand out pardons. Again, it's like if that bugs you, you know, that's true. It's like, how do people learn parcel tongue? Just sometimes they just learn it. So that's for me. It's just like that stuff doesn't really bug me because it's like this comic booky world, and it's just like, okay, if this center has the power, like, because technically this future we're in the MCU is 7 years from ours. So it's like, if they have that power, okay, cool, that's fine. So let's see. Fractional says, yeah, it's the MCU. Maybe everyone higher up is dead for some reason. Yeah, possibly. So I had some other shoutouts here. I liked at the end when Bucky and Falcon were walking away, he like went to tap him on the shoulder, but he like tapped the shield, and that's a great kind of comparison because last week he said like the shield was the shield was like his only family he had left, he felt. So it was like a nice, like, he has the shield kind of still, but it's with Sam, and now it kind of felt like that cementation of like he's with Sam now and they're friends and everything like that. I think I have my one just funny thing I had was when they're chasing after Carly and chasing after the Flag Smashers and everything. Falcon does like, he looks at the tracks and he sees, okay, one goes straight and one goes right, and he's like, let's split up. And like Bucky and US Agent go together, and then Falcon goes on its own. It's like, wouldn't one of you fucking super soldiers go with Sam? Like, why do these two super soldiers serums have to go together? Like, I know it's John Walker, but it's still just like, no, someone should go with him. So I got a little laugh at that, but obviously they figured it out, so it's all good. So
it's funny too because when they first go, like Bucky and fucking US Agent, they go to that other room. They just kind of like, they're like, oh, this is a dead end, you know, for like a split second. Yeah, exactly. It was just funny.
Yeah, Amir, we did talk about it, so you can go back and check that out. Yeah, that was all my notes. So anything else, or are we gonna rate this bad boy? Because the whole season's over, so it's time. Taylor Field, let's start with you.
It's funny because the same thing happened with WandaVision. I rated the first episode, and it just went complete sideways, and didn't get the chance to rate the episodes. But
sounds like that's a you issue. I forgot the part where that's my problem.
I'm gonna stick it up when it comes to Loki. I think I'm gonna do each episode individually. I'm gonna stick to it. But
stick it up.
As far as this series go, I'm gonna give it. Is that a 5 or 10?
Whatever you want. It could be 13.
True. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5. Like, honestly, like there's not enough negatives in this series to make me like take away at all. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What?
I feel like you were pretty down on this finale, and you're like 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
like,
but that's not a negative of the whole series. That's not a negative to just take away a whole notch down.
You've taken notches away from like this actor had a different hair piece or something like that before, and you'd be like, "Here, I'm taking a .002
Okay,
away."
The only one talking about hair pieces are you and Dylan over whose wig was it over on Tomb Raider.
No, but you've had weird reasons where you're like, "I didn't like this situational humor," or you're like, "I didn't like the color of Chris Pratt's boots in this Jurassic World scene."
Yeah, but
like,
Chris Pratt and Jurassic World are not related to this. This is its own thing. So it gets a unique rating custom to the content that I viewed. And I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 because I very much like all the content. Like, sure, the finale was like a little too quick in my opinion, but overall it doesn't outweigh at all the everything else in this. Like, this series, I felt like it was more custom to I know everyone's just
the chat's just roasting Taylor.
I know.
Normally you don't rate things live, so you're like protected.
I know. No, but in the end, this show, for me, I just felt like it was more custom to what I like. I like this kind of espionage. I like the aesthetic of everything we got in this show. And to me, I like it more than WandaVision for that sense. WandaVision was cool.
All male leads, right, Taylor? That's a big thing for you.
No. We got Sharon Carter. We got Carly in here. We got some good female.
Let's not even start Sharon Carter, who, chat, just so you know, he said Sharon Carter's better than Peggy Carter. So, you know, let's hold his feet to the fire for that. Yeah, don't trust that rating at all.
You know what? Just like Sam said, you gotta respect people's opinions and
not on this cast.
No, fuck it. No, I'm the senator. You don't know what you're talking about, Captain America.
So, yeah, I like this series a lot, and I'm definitely gonna rewatch it many times because, cancel Taylor. Jesus,
yep.
Gotta respect people's beliefs and opinions here.
Not if they're wrong. Not if they're wrong.
No.
All in the Game asked you, and this is one thing I want to test you. Do you even remember what your WandaVision score was? Because I bet you don't.
It wasn't. I don't think I gave it a full on like perfect rating.
No.
But I'm giving this. I'm giving this a full on perfect rating because again, I really really liked it. And every episode, I feel like this is like the one episode where I actually had like that negative. But again, I'm pretty sure I had more negatives throughout WandaVision than I did for this.
But see, I have messages from you where you're like, I fucking hate this show. No, I'm joking. I have messages where you're like, I keep forgetting Falcon Winter Soldier tonight. Where WandaVision, you never forgot was like tonight, like when it was happening.
It doesn't mean I didn't like the show. I think it was just kind of like so out of the loop or whatever. Got a lot of content we're working on.
Fracture Wolf is not letting you up to a hook. You just self-contradicted, meaning your opinion is essentially worthless. Like you have no logic in that statement. That's Taylor Field's life, you know. That's what he does.
You don't even have an opinion. I don't get how I don't have an opinion. My opinion is I like the show.
Kirklin Patzer, what is your rating for Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Now, Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
You remember what I gave WandaVision? Was it a 9 out of 10? I'm trying to remember.
I think you and I did give it 9s out of 10. I think for me it was the Shield stuff that brought it down for me, like Hayward. Oh, nice. No problem. Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Someone from Iran's watching. That's great. Hey, join us for Loki. Me and Taylor will be doing these for Star Wars: The Bad Batch. So if you guys watch those, then tune along for that. But if you're just here for the Marvel content, we will be back for Loki in June, and we'll be doing Black Widow, of course, in July. So lots of content, so please go subscribe, everything like that. So oh no, All in the Game's bringing the sins of your past. Everyone go check out the DC Alliance this week.
I definitely didn't say he was a better actor.
Than Batista. No, I will defend him. All in the Game, he said that John Cena would make a better Bane than Batista, which is also crazy fact.
Batista is definitely a better actor.
There you go. So Kirkland, so I think 9 was somewhere around there. I think we might have went back and forth between like 9, 9.5. I maybe even gave it 9.5, but
I think you might have been you taught me by like point something. But anyways,
she's the queen.
She is the queen, and she would be the queen in this, not Sharon. But anyways, I'm gonna give this one an 8.5 out of 10. I really really like the show. There was some moments that just dropped a little bit low for me, but it's not even like they were bad. It's just like it wasn't on the same hype level. And like I was sort of underwhelmed with this finale, and again, it wasn't bad. It's just it wasn't mind blowing, and I absolutely loved.
It's bad.
I absolutely loved last episode. That was my favorite episode of the entire season, and just really really great character moments throughout the show for me that really carried it, and it's got me really hyped on Bucky, honestly. Like he definitely was like the side character to Sam in this, but I'm falling in love with him. I want to see him last. Hopefully he doesn't die in the next season. I mean, like you mentioned, like we got to see Sam all happy after living a nice long life, and I think Bucky deserves that. Honestly, he's been through hell and back, so I want to see some happy Bucky moving forward.
Happy Bucky. Maybe we'll get that with Sarah. I'm the probably exact same score as you, an 8.5. I don't like it as much as WandaVision, but obviously it's pretty close. It's either a 0.5 or a point away. WandaVision just had like the weirdness I really liked, and plus like all like thirst jokes aside and everything like that. Like Elizabeth Olsen, I think Anthony Mackie did a good job. I think Bucky, Sebastian Stan did a good job, especially that Wakanda scene. But I think the performances she gave in that show, Paul Bettany, I really enjoyed as well, but the performances she gave in that show was just like S tier for the MCU, and that character, like I like Sam more. I like Bucky. I actually like Bucky now, which I didn't really care about him before. But like after that character with Scarlet Witch, I was like, man, she's like in my top 10, top 5 for MCU. Like they nailed it at the park, and I loved like the way this tackled race. I love the way that tackled depression. So they both had good themes, but I think just the weirdness and the soul performance of Olsen puts it a little bit higher. Because you can go back, I did have problems with some of the stuff they did in there, but I think this was a great show. This delivered on everything I want. It's not perfect, as you can see from my score, because I had some problems, so I couldn't give it a perfect score like some people here. But the main thing I said when this show started was I did want them to tackle the race issues, because I think that is an important issue, and I think that's something that is unique to this character. And that's something you can do with this character because obviously he is a black man. That's the time to do it. That's the time where it actually feels natural, especially in this situation where this man is becoming like the face of America when America has a lot of problems. So I loved it when they did in Black Panther because like I'm not saying that I just like it. Oh, if you do race stuff, you have me. I like it, and I like it when it's done well and you're actually tackling the issue because again, I like stories that aren't just about me and my life because I know my life, I know my perspective. I want to see other stories, and I want to see stories like this. The reason I want to see race stories or race stories about depression or things like that is because we can only watch superheroes fight a beam in the sky for so long. You know, like eventually that will tire. Eventually, if you want to talk about superhero fatigue, that's when it gets boring. Where every episode a portal opens up and we got to fight these guys. You know, it's like this series. I will say the action was better, but like for me, like Agatha versus Scarlet Witch in the Sky, other than the big costume reveal, that was the most boring part of the show because it was just, oh, these girls are just throwing like beams at each other. I liked the character talking. I liked this twist and twirls. I don't know why I'm saying twirls, but there you go. Probably because it's 2:15. But yeah, this one the action really delivered. So I think this is great. I think all I can say is so far we've had WandaVision, we've had this, and we have Loki, which looks batshit bonkers. I can't wait for. So I'm assuming that's going to at least be this quality or higher. And to me, that means the MCU shows so far have delivered big time. Like I think for even though it's an 8.5, I think this show is just phenomenal for we're getting MCU TV. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like a TV show. It doesn't feel less out. It doesn't feel not part of the universe. Like if these are the show we're going to get next year with Hawkeye, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, like the potential is just endless. And like it's just like another facet to the MCU as far as I think the biggest thing the shows have done so far is for Wanda, Vision, Sam, Bucky, even Baron Zemo, Sharon. They've taken characters that you know or maybe know a little bit, look at Zemo, and they've just broadened up. So the next time you see that character, whether it's in a movie or a TV show, you know so much more about them. Like I've said before, Bucky. I didn't really care about Bucky. Since Winter Soldier, he's just been a MacGuffin character, but now I'm actually invested in that character. And if he were to die, I would feel sad. Where before I'd be like, okay, cool, we can move along. And I think that's the best thing these shows are. They're making us kind of fall in love with some of these characters and appreciate them more. And it's just like comic books, man. I bring it. I can't wait. And we've got two very different shows. WandaVision, this, and Loki looks different. So it's just a great time to be a fan of comic books. You know, we're just popping off. So
I mean, we've been living through it for the last 23 plus movies.
Oh yeah, 100%.
In the golden era. I like All in the Game's point about Sebastian Stan. He's sure a good looking man.
100%. He said like if he wasn't so good looking, people realized there wasn't much to Buck, and I agree 100%. He's not really done that much, but hopefully now's his time to shine. He is now Bucky, and maybe he'll get a new name. So, ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you very much for tuning in this. If you tuned into one review, you've tuned to all of them, tuned tonight, we thank you very much. It's been fun for the people in the live chat all the time. So come back for when we do these other ones. Come back for when we do these reviews for Mortal Kombat, whatever it may be. We hope everyone out there is safe and healthy and happy. And when we promise, if you're just here for Marvel, when you hear from us next for Loki, it will not be boring. See ya.
Farewell.
Bye-bye.